Hello. This is Elizabeth Griffin, the Black Romance Writer, and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, please take a moment to do so and definitely share my content with others. Today I want to talk about a problem that we have in the Black publishing community. A huge problem, a void. Once upon a time, BET published all types of books under the imprints of Arabesque, Sepia, a new imprint, and BET served a purpose. They gave literature, entertainment through writing to lots and lots of Black people. And they provided romance, they provided inspirational books, they provided a service that was truly needed. And then along came Harlequin, and Harlequin purchased Arabesque, Sepia, new imprint from BET. And for a while, Harlequin produced books for young adults, African Americans, and people of color under the imprint True Kimani, or Kimani True. And then for adults, Harlequin had Kimani Press, and they produced quite a bit of books. They provided career opportunities for a lot of Black writers and writers of color, and the readers were happy, and I assume Harlequin was happy. However, a little while later, Kimani True, which is the teenage version of young adult fiction for people of color or teens of color, that was closed. And then, sometime later, Kimani Press, which produced all these romance novels for adults, was closed. And so now, I'm going to take a seat. So now, the publishing world, the Black publishing world, or readers, are faced with a problem. We don't have category romances to read. We don't have books that feature African American love, African American characters any longer. At least not category romances, and at least not under Kimani Press or Kimani True. So there is a huge void, and I've been thinking about this a lot because I love category romances. And for those of you who may not know, a category romance is a book with a page count from 1 to maybe 200, 250. It is a formulaic storytelling in which there is boy meets girl, there is a conflict between boy and girl, and then there is a resolution, and then the happily ever after, or the happy for now. And so these formulas are what make up category romances. You can write them under any genre. It could be a suspenseful category romance. It could be young adult category romance. It could be Christian. It could be anything historical. But it is a formula that is always followed. There is a guaranteed happily ever after. And these books are produced monthly, and they are numerical in order. So they can go on from 1 to infinity. So now that Kimani Press no longer exists, and all these writers, African American writers or writers of color, however you want to term it, they have lost their home. And there is a huge void in the Black community, whether it is African American, whether it is Caribbean, whether it's from other countries on the continent of Africa, wherever the Black diaspora is, there is a void, a huge void. So, for those of you who may not be familiar with me and my work, my name is Elizabeth Griffin, and I write category romances. And I have a line out, Red Velvet Delight Romance. And this line has been out for a while. And it was established because I wanted to write for Harlequin Romance, however, that never worked out. So I decided to create my own line. So the point of this video is that there are a lot of writers out here that can fulfill that need, can create category romances with the formulaic layout and the happily ever after, and they can produce one a month, or even, and that's ambitious, one book a month, or they could do maybe 4 books a year. But in addition to whatever their other writing projects are. But if independent writers, indie writers, decide to produce category romances in addition to whatever other projects they have, this can fill the void, because there are lots of readers out there of color, African American, so forth, that are looking for books, that are starved to see themselves in literature, to see themselves in stories, to see their worlds in these stories. And as I said, BET Books provided a huge service to different communities, ethnic communities, and now with the loss of Kimani Books and Kimani True, there are so many readers that are starved for these type of books. So I will be producing books continuously. I have 13 Red Velvet Delight romance titles under my belt, and I will be doing this for as long as I can, and hopefully you will join me as other writers and we can fill this void, because indie writers are everywhere and indie writers are producing and uploading, and if you incorporate category romance writing into your agenda or put that on your calendar, it could be very productive, it could be very lucrative, and you may be surprised at the turnout, and you may garner a whole new audience. So let me know what you think and how you feel about this particular situation, because I believe as indie writers, the reason we became indie writers, and I'm not speaking for everyone, but a lot of us, the reason we became indie writers is because we weren't able to break into the established publishing industry. Our work wasn't considered sellable, it wasn't considered interesting, it wasn't considered important. And therefore, we as indie authors decided that we were going to take things in our own hand, and we were going to start producing and writing and publishing our own work. And now with the advent of the network and ebooks and these free platforms where we can upload our stories and design our covers and create our own publishing companies, the publishing world has changed immensely. And so we have power. We have power. So the fact that these presses no longer exist, that is very sad, that is very tragic. However, we can unite and we can start putting out these types of books, and we can fill a need. And obviously, some of us are going to be better at it than others, and some of us are going to gain a lot of attention, and some of us are even going to be approached by mainstream publishing. And what each individual writer decides to do is up to them. However, I want to maintain control over Gore Publications, which is my publishing company. I want to maintain control over Red Velvet Delight Romance, because I want to ensure its future. I want to ensure that it will be available always, and that someone will not come along, and if I were to sell it, let's say, someone would not come along and decide it's no longer relevant, it's no longer important, and therefore they shut it down. Each writer has to decide what is important to them and what they will sell and what they won't sell. But I find that I'm very sad that Kimani Press no longer exists. I'm surprised and I'm shocked, and I want to see other publishing companies come to the rescue of these readers, and myself included, because in addition to being a writer, I like to read. I like to read interesting, entertaining, romantic stories. And I want to see us as publishers and as indie authors and independent content creators to come together and to fill that void. So as always, thank you for joining me on our platform. I'm wishing you love, peace, joy, and happiness. Until next time, enjoy your Sunday. Bye-bye.